Hi everybody and welcome to the RC Retro channel. In this episode we're going to be building the Tamiya Daytona Thunder, which is kit number 58153. It was released in 1995 and was based on the C Group chassis. Now in a previous episode we took a look at this by unboxing it, took a look at some other RCs that are based in the C Group as well, and talked about why this kit is considered special or unique, and that being because it came with a Parma body and not a Tamiya body, and also it was released with a Tamiya Dynatech 01R motor. Now if you don't know what that is, that was Tamiya's very first hop-up, which is 53001, and was only included in two kits. Now they sold it separately as a hop-up, but it was included in this kit, and before this kit came out, it was included in the Tamiya Terra Conqueror, which I also have new in box, and I showed you that in the previous episode as well. Now if you missed that episode, no worry, I'll post a link in the description down below, and at some point if you want, you can go click on that and watch that video. As for this episode, well, this is going to be a straightforward episode. We're going to do a time-lapse build, and then I'll see you at the end of the video where I'll talk a little bit more about the body and my concerns about the body, and then of course tell you what I thought about the build and what I found interesting, alright? So with that, enjoy the time-lapse build. Well, that's it for the chassis. It's all built. This thing is actually pretty light. It's a rather simple build, very enjoyable. Has foam tires on here. They seem to be in good condition still. I don't know how well they'll grip the pavement outside. But has an F1 style suspension in the front, which has just two little springs. So there is a little bounce there in the front. In the rear you have a mono shock or one shock, and has a bathtub style chassis and some FRP plates, and the differential is not encased, it's exposed, and super light compared to other Tamiyas. And I'm imagining, given the fact that this has a Dynatech 01R, it's going to be pretty quick out there. I'm not going to run it too hard, but when I do eventually get it out, and I say eventually because right now there's a blizzard going on, and by the time the snow melts and we get the sand cleared away by some rain, who knows when that'll be. So I will eventually get this out. So obviously that's not going to be in this episode. Now, as I previously stated, I have one major concern, and that being the body. While the body is a cool part of this, considering that it's not a Tamiya body, it's actually a Parma body, my concern is not the fact that it doesn't come with a protective coating on here, because that's not really much of a big deal. Once you get the body cut out, you could just mask it, much like they show you here in the picture. My concern is, other than the wheel well arches over here, there are no other cut lines. Like usually with a Tamiya kit, they show you the faint lines in the Lexan that you cut along. This does not. We're actually going to have to do a little math. We're going to have to take out a ruler, do a little measuring, and I'll show you in a second when I put a screenshot of the directions up here. The first thing you have to do, and again, there's no body lines on here to follow to cut, and there's no wheel well arches back here either. They tell you the first thing you have to do is basically, once you have the kit built, you got to take this body and put it over, and using the pre-existing wheel well arches in the front, line up the body here with the wheels and the tires, and then basically ream your holes. So again, there are no dimples like in a Tamiya body where you just basically take your reamer, put it in the dimple, and basically ream your hole. So that to me was a little nerve-wracking. So I already went ahead and did that. So I have my two reamed holes over here, and so far everything lines up in the front, and I guess that pretty much guides the rest of your body to be cut out, and ream your two other holes up here as well. So I did not ream those for the rear body post, but I'm going to go do that now off camera. As far as being a mathematician and doing a little measuring, well, let me put the screenshot up so you could see. So basically, before you even cut out the body, they want you to measure 10 millimeters from the bottom up. And that's where you would cut along. And then from the end of one wheel arch to where the other one is that they don't outline for you, you got to measure 182 millimeters. And then from there, I might have to bust out my protractor or my compass, because you have to, where the bumper is, measure 35 millimeters up, and then from the end of 182 millimeters, connect the lines right there, or connect the dots, and make a diagonal where you would have to cut up and then cut out a wheel arch. So how am I going to do this? I have no idea. This is definitely a little bit more complicated than I anticipated, and starting to give me a little anxiety. So I'm going to shut off the camera. I'm going to go get this cut out, and then hopefully I come back with some great news. Nothing like I screwed it up or anything. All right, so fingers crossed, and I'll see you in a few. Well, there you have it. The body is all cut out and mounted, and it looks great. Definitely not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I just had to think about it for a couple minutes off camera before I started slicing and dicing on here. So, like I was saying before, they were saying I had to measure up 10 millimeters all around the body, and then a little light bulb went off the top of my head. Oh, I have Tamiya masking tape that's 10 millimeters. So I just basically took it, went all the way around, particularly right here. I measured 182 millimeters, like they were saying, from the wheel arch back. At that moment, I was like, how am I going to cut this wheel arch out? Then I was like, ding, 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 another light bulb. Cut this out and use this wheel arch as a template for back here. So that's exactly what I did. I took another piece of tape, measured 35 millimeters up like this, and then from here took another piece of tape and connected it right to the corner of the wheel arch where the piece of tape that's 182 millimeters was going across, and that created my template for me to follow, going all the way around the car to cut it out, and very, very happy. I also took a little polycarbonate cleaner because remember, there is no protective film on the outside of this body. I just quickly went over the outside and the inside with a little polycarbonate cleaner, and now I'm going to give it a rinse in my slop sink over there and get it prepped and ready for some paint. We're going to mask it up, we're going to paint it, but that's going to be in the next episode where we're going to also put the stickers on and hopefully get this out for a little fun run. Fingers crossed. Hopefully the weather is going to work with me. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I just want to say thank you for your support, and keep an eye out for another Daytona Thunder video. All right? Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Let's go, let's go!